Imagine a world where Terra, cradle of humanity, lies broken under a sky blackened by ash and war. In the rugged hills of Old Albia, once the British Isles, a boy named Nathaniel Garro is born into the chaos of the Age of Strife, a dark epoch where civilization has crumbled and survival is a daily battle. From these brutal origins, Garro will rise to become a space marine, a hero of the Imperium, and a martyr whose loyalty shines through the betrayal of the Horus Heresy. His journey, forged in blood and faith, begins in a fractured world and ends in a sacrifice that echoes through the grim darkness of the 41st millennium. The Age of Strife, spanning roughly the 25th to 30th millennia, was a catastrophic period following the collapse of humanity's interstellar civilization. Warp storms, triggered by the psychic birth pangs of the chaos god Slaanesh, severed Terra from its colonies, isolating worlds in a galaxy-spanning apocalypse. On Terra, once proud nations disintegrated into techno-barbarian fiefdoms, wielding scavenged technology and waging endless wars. Albia, Garro's homeland, was a fortified enclave of warrior clans, its people hardened by raids from rival warlords like the Pan-Pacific Empire or the Indonesic bloc. Young Garro grew up wielding crude blades and learning Albian codes of honor. Loyalty, courage, and sacrifice, etched into his soul by elders who spoke of a lost golden age. As a teenager, he witnessed the Emperor's Thunder Warriors, proto-space marines clad in crude power armor, crush a local warlord's army, their bolt guns roaring. This glimpse of unity ignited Garro's hope, and when the Emperor's recruiters came to Albia, seeking youths for his nascent legions, Garro's strength and resolve made him a prime candidate. Selected for the 14th Legion, then called the Dusk Raiders, Garro underwent a harrowing transformation into a space marine. His body was reshaped by gene seed implantation, derived from the Emperor's genetic template, granting superhuman strength, endurance, and senses. Cybernetic implants, like the Black Carapace, interfaced with power armor, while psycho-indoctrination instilled unyielding loyalty. Training was merciless. Live-fire exercises in Terra's wastelands, sparring duels that left scars, and strategic drills under veteran sergeants. Garro excelled, his Albian grit shining through. During the Unification Wars, as the Emperor conquered Terra's warlords, Garro fought in the Battle of Gaduar, a clash against mutant hordes, earning a rare honorific from the Emperor himself. A single word, steadfast, spoken in a voice that burned into Garro's memory. The Dusk Raiders, named for their twilight assaults, wore crimson-trimmed armor and prided themselves on disciplined warfare, a legacy Garro carried proudly. The Great Crusade, launched in the late 30th millennium, was the Emperor's grand campaign to reclaim the galaxy for humanity. With Terra unified, the Emperor forged 20 Space Marine legions, each led by a primarch, his genetically engineered sons, and dispatched them to conquer lost human worlds, exterminate xenos, and enforce the imperial truth, a doctrine of reason and atheism. The Dusk Raiders, now the 14th Legion, were reunited with their primarch, Mortarion, on Barbarous, a toxic world of mist-shrouded peaks and plague-ridden valleys. Mortarion, a gaunt figure wielding the scythe Silence, reshaped the Legion into the Death Guard, emphasizing endurance and chemical warfare. Garro, a Terran veteran, struggled with this shift. Barbarous-born Astartes, like Ignatius Grulgor, scorned his Albian traditions, calling him Straight Arrow Garro for his rigid honor. Grulgor, a hulking captain with a venomous sneer, clashed with Garro over tactics, favoring reckless assaults over Garro's measured strategies. Garro's refusal to join the warrior lodges, covert fraternities spreading within the legions, seeded by Horus to foster disloyalty, marked him as an outsider. He viewed these lodges as a betrayal of the imperial truth, a stance that earned him Mortarion's grudging respect, but Grulgor's hatred. Bonds with loyalists from other legions sustained Garro. Saul Tarvitz of the Emperor's Children, met during the Praeaxor campaign, became a brother-in-arms after they carved an imperial aquila into a fortress wall, vowing loyalty to the Emperor. Garviel Loken of the Lunar Wolves, encountered on Ulanor, shared Garro's distrust of the lodges, their late-night talks forging a quiet alliance. Garro's Great Crusade campaigns were legendary. On Crypt, a frozen world of jagged peaks, he led his 7th Great Company against the Sloth, a xenos species of worm-like horrors that devoured human minds. Garro's bolter fire shattered their crystalline lairs, and his chainsword cleaved through their writhing forms, earning a commendation from Mortarion. The Jorgal persecution targeted a psychic xenos race, the Jorgali, whose bottle-shaped ships swarmed the Perseus Arm. Garro's company boarded their bio-vessels, enduring psychic screams that drove lesser men mad, and purged their hive minds with promethium. At Iota Horology, a desert world corrupted by rogue psychers, Garro fought alongside the Sisters of Silence, an all-female order of psychic nulls who served the Emperor. Clad in golden armor and wielding executioner blades, the Sisters projected an aura that nullified psychic powers, allowing Garro to storm a Psyker fortress, unhindered by warp sorcery. Their leader, Sister Commander Janitia Kroll, coordinated with Garro via sign language, her silence as formidable as her blade. The campaign's success deepened Garro's respect for the Sisters, whose vow of silence mirrored his own stoic resolve. Malcador the Sigillite, the Emperor's closest advisor, took a keen interest in Garro during these years. A cryptic figure with a hawk-like visage, Malcador was a psyker of immense power, managing the Imperium's bureaucracy and covert operations. He summoned Garro for private councils, probing his loyalty with questions about faith and duty, planting seeds for Garro's future role. A grievous wound at Isstvan Extremis, a precursor to the heresy, nearly ended Garro's career. A Xenos warlord's monomolecular blade severed his right leg, and only Fabius Bile's intervention, then an apothecary, later a traitor who twisted flesh for chaos, saved him with a bionic limb. The cold precision of Bile's surgery, coupled with his unsettling fascination with Garro's pain, left a bitter scar on Garro's psyche. The Horus Heresy, beginning in the early 31st millennium, was the galaxy's darkest hour. Horus Lupercal, primarch of the Lunar Wolves and the Emperor's favored son, fell to chaos corrupted by the ruinous powers, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. His rebellion aimed to overthrow the Emperor and plunge humanity into chaos worship. The betrayal culminated at Isstvan III, a verdant world turned into a slaughterhouse. Horus, allied with the Death Guard, Emperor's Children, World Eaters, and Sons of Horus, planned to purge loyalists from their ranks. Deployed to quell a fabricated rebellion, Garro's company faced virus bombs, life-eater warheads that dissolved flesh into sludge, dropped by their own fleet. Saul Tarvitz's Vox warning reached Garro moments before the bombardment, revealing Horus's treachery. Garro, stationed on the frigate Eisenstein in orbit, rallied 70 loyalist Death Guard, known as the 70, including veterans like Sergeant Hacker and Apothecary Merrick Voyen. Seizing the Eisenstein, a rusting hulk barely warp-capable, they aimed to escape and warn Terra. The journey, chronicled in James Swallow's novel, was a descent into hell. Ignatius Grulgor, aboard as a traitor, sabotaged the ship by unleashing life-eater canisters, turning entire decks into a charnel pit. Caleb Arryn, Garro's housecarl, a mortal servant who maintained Garro's armor, sealed himself in the infected section, his final Vox message a plea for Garro to reach Terra. In the warp, Nurgle, the chaos god of decay, exerted his influence. Grulgor and his men, killed by the virus, were resurrected as plague marines, their armor fused with rotting flesh, their bolters spewing pestilent rounds. Garro led a desperate counterattack, his chainsword carving through their bloated forms, but the warp's horrors escalated. Solon Decius, a young Astartes under Garro's command, was possessed by a Nurgle demon, his body twisting into a horned monstrosity. Garro's duel with Decius was a tragedy, ending with a mercy kill that left Garro haunted. The Eisenstein, battered and leaking atmosphere, encountered Eacton Cruz's Thunderhawk, carrying civilians like Euphrati Keeler, a remembrancer who preached the Emperor's divinity, Kyril Sinderman, a scholar, and Mercedes Olitun, a documentarian. To signal for rescue, Garro ordered the warp drive jettisoned, its detonation creating a psychic flare that pierced the Immaterium. Rogel Dawn's Imperial Fists fleet, patrolling the Segmentum Solar, detected the signal and rescued the survivors. On Luna, Garro delivered his warning to Dawn and Malkador, detailing the fall of 4 legions and Horus's plan to march on Terra. This revelation forced Horus to accelerate his campaign, buying the Imperium precious months to fortify. Malkador, ever the chessmaster, saw Garro's potential as a weapon against Horus. A psyker of unmatched subtlety, Malkador had orchestrated the Imperium's shadow wars, founding the Officio Assassinorum and overseeing the Sisters of Silence. His declaration, "You are a death guard no longer. You are a ghost, trapped amid the grey," marked Garro's rebirth as Agentia Primus of the Knight-Errant, a covert order tasked with recruiting loyalists and disrupting chaos. Garro's new armor, Grey Mark VI Corvus plate, bore Malkador's sigil, a rosette later adopted by the Inquisition. His weapons included Libertas, a paragon bolter with custom rounds, and the Falsehood, a psychic device that masked his presence from enemy sorcerers. His missions, detailed in the novel Garro, Weapon of Fate, were perilous odysseys. On Calth, during the Word-Bearer's betrayal, Garro fought demons, warp-spawned horrors with claws of molten bone, while saving a regiment of Imperial auxilia. Wielding Libertas, he destroyed a Defiler, a demon engine of spiked treads and lascannons, its wreckage collapsing a trench line. There, he recruited Tylus Rubio, an ultramarine psyker shunned for his forbidden powers, declaring himself a Legion of One to inspire Rubio's allegiance. In the Sol System's Kuiper Belt, Garro, Rubio, and Custodian Korarin, a golden-armored warrior of the Emperor's bodyguard, investigated a refugee flotilla led by Mesa Varan, a World Eater's loyalist. They uncovered a White Scars plot by Captain Hakim, who planned to detonate a cyclonic torpedo in Terra's orbit. A brutal void battle saw Garro board Hakim's ship, his bolter felling traitor Astartes, but a single vessel carrying Horus's agent escaped, a failure that gnawed at Garro's conscience. Infiltrating Rogel Dawn's phalanx, the Imperial Fist's fortress ship, Garro freed imprisoned librarians, psychers banned by Dawn's edict. His confrontation with Dawn, a primarch of unyielding stoicism, was a clash of ideals. Garro argued for the librarian's value, while Dawn upheld his father's decree. Librarian Massak, tormented by visions of demons, refused to join, loyal to Dawn. In a duel on a plague-ravaged world, Garro faced Solon Decius, now the Lord of the Flies, a Nurgle corrupted abomination wreathed in flies. Decius's pestilent aura rotted Garro's armor, but Euphrates-Keeler's telepathic intervention, channeling the Emperor's light, gave Garro strength. Blinding Decius with a jagged rock, Garro beheaded him with Libertas, mourning the brother he'd lost. Garro's spiritual journey was as transformative as his battles. Euphrates-Keeler, a fervent believer in the Lectitio Divinitatus, a text proclaiming the Emperor's divinity, guided Garro toward faith. He memorized its passages, reciting them in moments of doubt, defying the imperial truth's atheism. This aligned him with the nascent Imperial Cult, a movement that would define the 41st millennium. His search for Keeler led to Titan, where he uncovered the Othris Project, a clandestine effort to create a chaos-resistant Astartes chapter, the Grey Knight's precursor. Garro recruited Rubio, Varron, and Garviel Loken, ensuring the project's success. The Siege of Terra in 014M31 was Garro's final stand. Leading kill squads with Loken, he struck at traitor strongholds. Beneath the Saturnine Gate, he ambushed Falcus Kibre's Justaerin Terminators, elite sons of Horus clad in black cataphractii armor. Garro's bolter tore through Kibre's plate, and Libertas's blade bisected him, Garro pitying the demon-possessed traitor. Facing Ezekiel Abaddon, the sons of Horus' first captain, alongside Bel Sepatus and Endrid Ha, Garro landed a near-fatal blow, only for Abaddon to escape via teleportation. At Marmak's Bastion, Garro confronted Mortarion, now a demon prince of Nurgle, his wings dripping miasma, and Typhus, the Death Guard's plague-ridden herald. Mortarion offered Garro a place at his side, promising brotherhood. Garro's refusal, "I serve the Emperor and him alone," ignited a duel. Mortarion's scythe, Silence, impaled Garro, and his warp-forged strength shattered Libertas. As Garro faltered, Keeler's psychic invocation of the Emperor's light surged through him. With Libertas's broken hilt, Garro stabbed Mortarion's neck, the wound searing the Primarch's demonic essence. Mortarion's retaliation crushed Garro's body, but as he died, Garro saw the Emperor, a radiant figure of divine power. Kyril Cinderman, later an Inquisitor, named him the first martyr of the Church of the God Emperor. The flight of the Eisenstein was Garro's defining act. Rallying the 70, he rescued Keeler, Cinderman, and Oliton via Cruz's Thunderhawk. Grulgor's Life-Eater betrayal, Arin's sacrifice, and the Warp's horrors, Plague Marines, Decius's possession, tested Garro's resolve. The Warp Drive's detonation signaled dawn, ensuring rescue. This warning reshaped the heresy, forcing Horus's hand. Alternative fates, imprisonment, a quest for a cure, or a 41st Millennium task force exist in apocryphal tales, but Garro's martyrdom at Marmak's Bastion endures. His warning saved Terra, his Knight-Errant birthed the Grey Knights, and his faith forged the Imperial Cult, a legacy that burns eternal in the grimdark future.